What is going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to talk about the May of 2018 dividend income that I received. So comparing to last year, I only made around $80 last year. This year, I just got under $300, which is an increase of around 271% comparatively year over year, which is a phenomenal result. Which gets me to a forecasted just under $1,400 for the second quarter. If we assume that I get around $790 next month in June, which is generally speaking my bigger months. So you can see here some of the investments that I made that have really jumped me by the 271%. We can look on the actual individual investments that I have made that have really made that possible. Some that stick out immediately is my investment in Verizon. That makes a lot of sense. I think also an increase in my investments in O. Of course, that always helps out a little bit. My investment in Main Capital, and this AT&T investment is also relatively new. So if you take just some of these into account, you can see immediately right off the bat that it's around $100 and some. And of course, this recently I doubled down, I think, or maybe tripled down, and went from having around 50 odd shares to around 150 odd shares. So really big increase there in terms of what I'm getting. So you can see around $250 coming from my individual brokerage account. That's for my Kinder Morgan, my Realty Income, my Seajol partners, which I continue to reinvest in. So I have around 500 some shares in that. Now I have around 580, 90 shares. Main Street Capital, which is continuing to pay out a good dividend. My AT&T and my Verizon, and as well as my Stag Industrial. I have some more Verizon in my Roth IRA. That's just, I don't know, in there because I know it's a good dividend pair. My AbbVie and my Clorox. And a story quickly here is I got an email about 3 days ago saying that my Realty Income Corp is going to be changing from my share owner online, which is used to be owned by Wells Fargo Financial Services. It's actually being transferred to ComputerShare, so it's good. I actually can log on to my ComputerShares account as opposed to the share owner online. I lost the password, so and they make it a little bit more difficult to get an email sent to, or your actual personal email. So you have to actually have like the account number, and it's very difficult. So it's nice that now I'll be able to track my Realty Income Corp ComputerShares on a monthly basis. And with that being said, I think that I'm going to start reinvesting around a couple $100 a month in my ComputerShares account for Realty Income Corp, just based off of whether or not it is free. If it's free to invest in Realty Income Corp and it doesn't cost anything, then what I'll probably do is invest a couple $100 a month, and then every once in a while I'll transfer it over into my individual brokerage account, just so I can kind of keep it in one spot. If it costs money, then maybe I'll just hold off and wait, because I am adding around $1,000 to $1,500 a month just in my individual brokerage account alone. So really exciting stuff. I mean, in terms of the monthly dividend plot and the yearly graphic plot, really steadily getting around to that, close to that 5,500 mark for the year. Like I said, I still anticipate that I'll probably end up around 5,800 for the year. But that's the goal. That's not including any potential YouTube income, which at the moment I'm not making any, just based off the fact that I have less than 1,000 subscribers at the moment. But it's really putting me in a good position for next year, which I should get around $6,000 next year. So still haven't thought about what my goal for next year is going to be. I really was hoping to get around $6,000 in dividend income this year, but unfortunately, the way that things panned out, I just did not. I still have some of my funds in cash, so if I technically wanted to move over, I still have about 5% cash, so technically if I still wanted to move over some money, I could do that. And another thing I have thought about is I do have some investments in my individual brokerage accounts and my Roth IRA that technically don't actually pay dividends. So like my first solar doesn't pay any dividends, but that's been a really good capital appreciation play for me. It's almost up 100% over the past year or so. And then like my Lillis Energy and my Chesapeake, and I bought a penny stock over here, which I generally don't invest in a lot of penny stocks, but this one seemed somewhat legit. Square doesn't currently pay dividends. There's $2,500 or more in capital. That's kind of actually it's closer to 6,000 now. That's kind of tied up in non-paying dividends, which at the end of this year maybe I'll sell and switch over to a dividend-paying stock. And then I have some other companies that just don't pay that large of a dividend. But in terms of companies that I've added and income that I've added for the year, so I recently added onto Pepsi. So I was down into the low 90s or the high 90s rather, which was about a 20 to 25% decline from where it used to be earlier this year. So I figured it was prudent for me to invest about $5,000 into that. So that'll increase my yearly income about $200 or so, which I think is around 3.8% dividend yield. So it's around a target of what I'm aiming for is around 4%, investing at least. So really expecting to have that for years to come. I've invested in Pepsi before, but I sold out of it. And back then I didn't really invest nearly as much capital as I had now. I think I might have had like 10 shares or something like that. So this is probably the biggest investment I've ever had in Pepsi. So just keeping that in mind. But other than that, I still have my account from YouTube that when I was making money from YouTube, still have that. I have $300 in cash in there that I have yet to invest. And I have a whole bunch of other stocks here that I actually don't pay dividends either. I actually got rid of this GE position. I probably should have set a note on that, but I'll hide it just because I don't own it anymore. But I did recently increase my Philip Morris, which I might have said before. So I'm getting around $260 or so from that. I don't think I had a position in Philip Morris before in my Roth IRA. So this is a relatively new holding. I also hold it in my computer shares account because it's pretty cost efficient to purchase it in my computer shares account. So anyway, between that and my Roth IRA, I'm getting around $350 from Philip Morris a year. So relatively great dividend stock for me. But anyway, that's really it. Another thing that I've probably talked to you guys about in the past is how my sector income is by sector, obviously. So energy is still really high. My real estate's kind of come down, but I'm really starting to even out some of these other ones. Recently, my consumer staples has really jumped up just based off the fact that I bought a decent amount of Pepsi, which increased it probably by about 4%, or maybe a little bit less than that. But things that I need to get more involved in are consumer discretionary. Maybe I'll get some of my cash up a little bit more. I have very little utilities, just based off the fact that I'm really into dividend growth. And some of the utilities that I have been looking at really haven't been all that inciting for me. Southern Company might be the best one that I've been looking at. That or Dominion, which has an LNG, like liquid natural gas, sort of play to it as well. And then there's some materials and some industrials that I have money in, but I have zero healthcare, which I've been thinking about getting involved in as well. So anyway, really appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. If you guys have any questions about my portfolio and how I'm essentially getting around $500 a month on average for the next 12 months. Looking ahead, feel free to chime in, ask me a question. Always continuing to invest more. Like I said, I try to invest about $1,000 to $1,500 a month, just in my investable brokerage accounts. That's not including my 401k or anything like that. So, all right. Well, thanks for stopping by the channel. I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you guys next month at least for around when I make about $800 next month. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Cheers.